Welcome to Puro Pinche Sports. I'm your host, Jose Garza. My co-host here tonight is Arturo Ibarra. We are running just a tag team, just a duo here, man. Having technical issues. We can't get a third person on. Don't know what happened to 4, 5, and 6, but you know what? We're here. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, man. We haven't done this in a while, so it's going to be easier to talk a little bit, but I get some of the viewers like to hear the panel, so bear with us. It's going to be an interesting show, though.
Bear with us, please. You know what? If you're listening to this, if you're
Bear.
watching this, yeah, bear down. Bear down. Nah. It's gonna be a fun episode because we have a lot to talk about. Football is back, of course, like we've mentioned plenty of times. But now it's week 2, and everyone's freaking out about their team, unless you are, a 2-0 team. But let's go ahead and get started with the, main thing that we've been talking about, whether it's me and you debating, whether it's everybody in the panel. Trey Lance is down, man. Trey Lance down. He's out. His knee is facing north. His ankle was facing southeast. He's broken.
And his body was facing west.
I mean, shit happens, bro. But give me your thoughts on Trey Lance going down, his significance for him as far as him going down, but also, the grin of Jimmy G coming into the game and, just kind of like chuckling inside, saying, "Ha ha 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 ha." Give me your thoughts on all that.
So it's sad to see the player have to go through something like that. We saw with Prescott, similar injury, probably not the same one, but it's similar, same ankle, man, everything. It sucks. I've had family members who've had ankle injuries from playing sports, man, and I myself have had not a broken ankle though, but man, it's not something that you can recover right away. It leaves, it hinders. So to see that from Trey Lance, man, his upside was going to be the rushing. Not so much his passing. I've been saying it. He needs to develop that in. But he was a rushing quarterback, so he had similar qualities as Lamar Jackson. Now, in the future, wise man, I hope he gets better. He comes back and plays football. But we just heard it from Prescott. He literally has sometimes it lingers into him the injury. He said he couldn't wear his cleats too tight, or he couldn't wear a specific type of cleat because it bothered him. It might be the same situation with Lance. Prescott doesn't run as much anymore because of that injury. So hopefully, since he's younger, he's able to get past it, come back, and prove people that he is the one from San Francisco. But going back to Jimmy G, man,
to quickly just real quick, I think the biggest thing, I think, from what we know, it is an ankle break, but it wasn't a compound fracture. You didn't get to see the bone or anything like that. It didn't twist off like that to the same magnitude that Dak Prescott did back in 2020 when his injury happened against the Giants. So just want to iterate that, while you go on. So go ahead, brother.
And then just going back to the Jimmy thing, man, it could be of two things. Either he smirked because he was like, all right, you guys needed me now. Watch me do this. Y'all switch me for a rookie quarterback. Watch me outperform after I got you all to the playoffs last year. Or it was because of his contract, man. Just because he plays more than 10 snaps, he's going to get a good little bag of money. And if he wins it, he gets an extra 100 on that. So he's going to get a good money on that. He doesn't have to stay with San Francisco next season. He can leave wherever he wants. So
I thought the contract was, just to reiterate. So the contract is he has to play 50% of the snaps in the game. He gets $250, but he gets another $350 if he wins the game. So I don't think it's just another extra 100. I think he actually adds another $350 to it. So in total, he gets $600K just for that. And so that's what that's the magnitude it is now, because before they readjusted his contract, he was set to make about $24 million this year. He dropped it down to $8 million, but plus incentives in case he played and stuff like that. So he cut it down to a third of what his original contract was for the year, and now he can make up to essentially about $14K, close to doubling from the $8 million, stuff like that. So 14K, another total 14 million, 16 million, somewhere around that. And of course, more incentives along the way, the further he gets on into the playoffs. So look, I'll say this. Trey Lance, they bought into the future. They traded up multiple picks so they can get to the number 3 pick. Originally, rumor says they're going to go for Mac Jones. Didn't happen. They were impressed by Trey Lance. They went that route. They benched Jimmy G this year. They're going to go for it all in, even though they've had a playoff set team, right? Even though they probably, they probably didn't need to do it now, right? Because you have a rookie contract. They have him for 5 years. You can wait until Jimmy G's contract is done. And then, y'all go your separate ways, and then you can start them. So, you could have done that route. But at the same time, you went on in for this guy, try him out. If you're impressed with him, great. Make him his team, make him feel comfortable. Awesome. They didn't make him feel comfortable. You re-signed Jimmy G. You made sure that he wasn't traded out. You made sure that, the locker room was a little bit divided, unfortunately. And not to Trey Lance's fault. Like, there's nothing really bad or negative you could really say about the kid. Because other than getting hate by like Colin Cowherd, you don't really hear anything negative about Trey Lance. It's more just shit. You have a playoff caliber team, a guy who's been to the Super Bowl, who's learned from Tom Brady, being, his backup for all those years, winning 3 titles through himself. So it just sucks. I think like me and you have been like, and everyone, panel's been discussing off the during the week. For me, it's just Trey Lance just needs those reps. He'll never get the opportunity to really show what he has without those reps. One game does not define a person. I said that last week. But damn, man, he doesn't even get like a quarter of the season. Doesn't even get half. Like none of that shit. So how are we ever going to really know? By year 3, he's going to have started 4 games, played 12 and a half quarters at best. Like, and we're supposed to really evaluate in this kid. Like, how are you, if you're, the GM Lynch, or if you're the coach Shanahan, how are you really going to look at next year and be like, do we really want to bring back, we're going to bring back Lance, but do we really want to like get rid of Jimmy G? Do we really want to? Because we don't know, like, what if Jimmy G takes him to the Super Bowl again?
And that's the thing, man. Like, if you think about it, we've had the discussion with most of the viewers with the panels, like we look at Lance, we look at Fields, we look at Mac Jones, we look at Trevor Lawrence, though. Like, they're all rookies coming out of playing in college. And there was I'm going to use this as an example, man. Like, during the Packers game, Bears game, like, they literally put Fields in the shotgun. And I was listening to it. I read some. It's to put him so he could feel more comfortable in the shotgun, since that's usually what they do in college. Man, you're not in college anymore. You're in the NFL. And we saw that with Trevor Lawrence last year. He was a prospect, and he did not do well his first season. Now we're seeing improvements out of him. We saw it with Josh Allen.
Meyer, by the way.
We saw it with Josh Allen too. Like, his first season was ass. Now look at him. Look where he's at. He's taking the Bills. Their kryptonite is the Chiefs. But like, apart from all of that, and like us hating on other teams and everything, like at the end of the day, it's like these rookie quarterbacks that are coming in from college, like they need the experience that you're saying. They need the reps. They need the offense to be built around them on what they do best. We didn't see that with Fields last year. We didn't see that with Lance. We almost didn't even see it with Mac Jones if Cam Newton had stayed. So it's one of those things that, like, I'm glad that they released Cam Newton. So it gave the experience to Mac Jones, and we saw how good it
gave him a boost. It made him like feel like, okay, this team's gonna put everything on me. Even like the first game, they lost 17-16, very close game against the Dolphins last year. But at the same time, even though he had the struggles early on, right? Like the first 4 games and something around that time, like, he struggled. It wasn't an easy just to get the one win. Like, he struggled at one win. I think it was the Texans. But then once he got to the game against the Cowboys, against the Bucks, actually, against Tom Brady, they lost, but you felt confident in him a little more. Like the last play, questionable and stuff like that. But then the Cowboys game, and then they go on an 8-game win streak, and then you build on that. Justin Fields needs that same thing. Trevor Lawrence needs the same thing. Davis Mills kind of already gotten it. He just stuck in a city situation. Trey Lance has yet to get a fucking breather of like trying to like really show like, hey, you brought me in here for a reason. Like, this is good shit. Alex has a comment to say. Jimmy G just saved the season for them. Trey was just not ready to lead this team right now. He's in a tough situation just because the team is a playoff team. Here's my argument, though. yes, Jimmy G is a more astound position to get to the playoffs, right? Like that's not a question, right? But we already know this team is a playoff team. What can Kyle Shanahan do to hide his weaknesses to get there? We don't know yet because he doesn't have the whole season to find out. Mac Jones got the team to the playoffs. We wouldn't have known if he could have or should have done that anyways. Because remember last year I said the defense. That's all my argument was last year. When I said the Patriots would make the playoffs, it was the defense. So that's my argument. That was my argument again for the Niners. You can try to hide, you learn, you develop. You just won't know. I don't think the season is safe for them because I always thought they were going to make the playoffs anyways. I just think it sucks because his progression doesn't develop.
Yep. No, and that's the thing. Like we saw it in the first game. I know a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, throw that game away between the 49ers and the Bears." And yeah, the comments of whether it had no effect. Like at the end of the day, the 49ers were running the ball better and through the Bears defense. We saw that with the Packers. The Packers ran the ball through the Bears defense. If Shanahan had actually said, you know what, this first game, let's just run the ball. It's raining. Let's run the ball. Let's hide some of that insecurity from Lance. Let's help them feel better. Let's run the ball. Let's do some play action in some of them. But like you're kind of move all of that around. And now with Jimmy, man, like he has a connection with Debo. I didn't see a connection with Lance on that first. And yet again, it was a game and a quarter that we didn't see that connection because we didn't get to see him play with the offense. So we don't know.
In the end, yeah, it's just we're never going to get that real opportunity to find out.
There was like rumors in camp saying that like Kittle didn't have a connection with Lance. The only one that had that connection was Ayuk. And it's like, all right, but how much do we actually believe out of camp? Like,
and also too, like you can also question how much is Ayuk have really with Jimmy G, because last year Jimmy G and Ayuk didn't feel like that much of a connection, right? Like he got good numbers at the end of the season, right? But like Ayuk wasn't really like, I'm thinking fantasy purposes, right? Too, like he didn't feel like he was getting the attention he deserved that he had gotten or he had earned in the 2020 season. You know, that's a little part of the tough things there too. So we just don't know. And at the end of the day, we won't know. Yes, obviously when Jimmy G came in, it probably felt like a different atmosphere for those guys on the field, right? Because they know him. They know what, how he is. There's that feeling of like,
they know how he plays.
Like, yeah, you know each other. You don't even have to question it. With Trey, it's a learning experience, but that's always going to be a tough thing when you're a playoff team, and then you bring in someone new, and you're just like, what was wrong with the old ways? And really, there wasn't really wrong anything with the Niners. They just getting ready for their future, which is fair. I don't think that's anything that anyone should really question, but we won't know anything about Trey Lance until he actually gets on the field. Now, me and you had a little debate on the phone on Monday or Sunday, whatever it was, where I said his third year is here. Yeah, right. I actually haven't gone back to listen if I said injury or not, whatever. But I still believe his third year should be his like for sure year, regardless. That should be like his defined year. Unfortunately, he's not going to get the cap space, the capital room to really know, are you the guy or not? So we'll see, man. We'll see. The Niners get their first win last week against the Seahawks. So that's a big one. All right, let's talk about another game that was big, a banger. Let's talk about that Dolphins upsetting the Ravens. Let's talk about that one. Let's talk about
all the, before we get into that, man, let's just talk about all the upsets that happened this week, man. Like, we were sitting nice and pretty where we're making our predictions, and then like some of these teams coming up like above and making the comeback. The freaking Cardinals over the Raiders, the Jets over the Browns, the Dolphins over the Ravens. Like what in the world happened? Like these 2 weeks are just like
the caption for week 2 is comeback, because
Cowboys over the Bengals, dude. Like what the
because
fuck?
week 1 was just like if you captioned week 1, you'd be like, what? And then week 2, it was like a lot of teams were set to win after the halftime. Like you were good. Raiders were up big against 20-0 against the Cardinals. And then the Cardinals win. Freaking Ravens up by 3 touchdowns at going into the fucking fourth quarter. the offense come back and win. Like, what the hell? Like, comebacks out of nowhere, surprises. But now let's go ahead and contribute back to the Dolphins upsetting the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a game, Art. He had a fucking game. He balled out, yet proving once again that he should get his fully guaranteed contract.
He's not top 10.
Come on, Baltimore. According to the Ravens, according to Trey, he's not top 10. You're right. He is top 5, Art. He is top 5. I keep saying it. It was y'all thought it was crazy that I said it was top 5. It's not crazy because look at him balling out. It's not his fault they lost. Whose fault is it? The Ravens defense, the defensive coordinator, blown coverages. Who the fuck lets Tyreek Hill run down the field and no one covering him multiple times? Why? Why is Jalen Waddle getting through y'all like nothing? Why? Like it's amazing that you let yourselves get complacent, think the game's over, and then boom. Fucking that's how the Browns did to the Jets in 2 minutes. Art, talk to me about Tua's performance, man, because what it took for this young man who is so heavily critiqued, so heavily judged, not really allowed to like also himself, right? Like to real opportunity, like show off his skills. What a way for him to like keep his composure, come back, use the 2 top weapons on his team to really ignite fire to the whole organization and come back and win the game.
I think overall, man, I think there's possible 2 quarterbacks that I'm saying like this year coming in, they had actually 3 quarterbacks coming into the season. They had something to prove. Kyle Murray, Tua, and damn, I just drew a blank, man. The guy from the Eagles, man, Hurst. Like those 3 quarterbacks had something to prove this season after the upgrades that they did and like the changes in rosters that they made, the acquisitions. I think Tua and Hurts did their homework. Kyler, yeah, he did a comeback. Like, great, he did a comeback. But the first game, it was just like, whatever. It was a shitty performance. But Tua has this thing of like, and everyone said like, oh, Tua has this feel about him, the way he carries himself. Yeah, like whatever, he can't throw deep. We saw him throwing well. I mean, there's a reason why Hill and Waddle are able to attack that ball.
To answer real quick, I think a lot of the reason is because, and it's mainly because I think we don't have a lot of left-handed quarterbacks. We don't get to see that much, right? Like we've had a few, but like not really ones that throw that deep shot. So when it comes from a left hand, and I saw a video of it, when it comes to the left hand, it looks weird. But someone flipped the camera, right? They flipped it. They mirrored it, and they showed how it was on the right, and it was like, oh, that was actually pretty clean. It was like clean. Yeah. But so there's like, so much judgment because he's a lefty. Just because he's a lefty, so much judgment.
And it's the same judgment with Lamar, though. Just because he's running a mobile quarterback, there's all that controversy on him. Like, I think both quarterbacks are great.
He's throwing bangers at the bangers.
But Tua, man, like, I think he looked better than that class that came in. Like, yes, they gave him Waddle last year. We started to see that connection. Now they helped him in and said, you know what? Here you go. Here's Tyreek Hill. Here's another weapon. You have Edmonds. You have Mostert. You have speed on this team. Like, just get him the ball. All Tua had to do was get him the ball, and they were going to make the plays for him. That's all. Same thing with Hurts.
Trey has also a comment. He says Tua is nice, and he has weapons. Yes, he is.
And the same thing with Hurts, man. Like, they got A.J. Brown. They got Devonta Smith. Yes, Devonta Smith has not been seen on the field, on fantasy, like a lot of people are dropping him on. But he has A.J. Brown. Get A.J. Brown the ball. He'll make the play for him. Hollywood Brown, man, like, where is he? Like, yes, he's there. I think he's the other Cooks. He's just like Brandon Cooks, man. Like, he's just there. But
but Brandon Cooks is in a shitty situation. Hollywood Brown said, the Ravens style is not my style. Let me go play with Kyler and his Call of Duty console.
But look at what Lamar's been able to do. He has Duvermay, he has Bateman, and he has Likely, he has Andrews, and he's
making things happen. And for all the shit that he has been going through, like the critiques online, and that's the thing too. To Lamar, Hurts, these like great comparisons are like they're getting like all this stuff. I don't know, by the way, who you're talking about, trash Trey, but if you're telling me my acting skills, how dare you? How dare you, sir? No, but anyways, those 3 great. They're proving early on what how awesome they really are. They said, I'm not going to talk back to y'all. I'm just going to prove myself onto the field.
Yep.
I'm going to prove how awesome I am. Lamar Jackson, you could argue he's top 5 in the top 5 conversation. Oh, he meant Hollywood Brown. Yeah, you're right. In the conversation right now, just 2 weeks. It's early on. It's overreaction time. That's how we're always going to be. Tua, he's looking good. He needs to start better early on, though. He can't rely on these major comebacks to do it. But he looked great nonetheless in the fourth quarter, making him 469 yards this past week. Jalen Hurts, from start to finish, fucking amazing. That first drive, you kind of knew going forward the rest of the game, this team, whether it's AJ Brown, Goddard, his legs, Devontae Smith, they're using Miles Sanders a little more. This team is flowing in together nicely.
And you know what, man? The Eagles, man, there was that whole joke, trust the process. Look at the damn process, man. They have one of the best O-lines.
Well, the process was the Sixers, not the Eagles, but yes.
But there was stuff going on the Eagles, man. And seeing them being able to get one of the best lines. Now you have a quarterback. Now you have that weapon. The way that they build their team, yes, it was slow to get there, but I think the Eagles are a freaking contender the way that they're playing. They should be able to get it there. The Dolphins, the way they're playing, another contender. Yes, their O-line is not as well as the Eagles, though, but I think on a day-to-day, though, they're up there.
You ranked them number 9 in your duos. How you feeling now?
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling now about Waddle and Tyreek Hill?
Hey, the reason why? No, they're not. Well, hell no. No, the reason why they're not is Tua looks more composed, and I'll rewatch the videos, man. But I do believe that was one of the arguments that I had. Tua has to look good behind them to be able to feed him the ball. He's doing it. You know what? He looks composed on the pocket, and he looks great. He looks comfortable in it.
Let's give a shout out to what could be a really real contender for Coach of the Year. Mike McDaniels is doing a hell of a job because he is making things work. He said after the game, he's like, guys, I want to see y'all get some adversity because obviously against the Patriots, they didn't get any, not really much of a threat there. But you got adversity against, the Ravens. They gave you a challenge, and they fought back beautifully. I think Mike McDaniel's genius coming out the Shanahan tree, coming out from that smart fucking big brain guys. He's gonna look nice, dude. And it's one of those arguments right now, these young quarterbacks, because Tua's still young. It's his third year, right? I think it's his third year. These young quarterbacks need that offensive minded coach. And that's what he is. And he's flourishing now. It's only his first year. It's only 2 weeks. We'll see how the rest goes. But he's flourishing. Let me go into the comments real quick. Trey says they have also won a championship in our life. Cough, Cowboys fan, cough. And he's talking about the Eagles winning the title, just a few years ago. Over Brady and my Patriots. Thanks, Trey, for reminding me. Alex wants us to transition to how about Bengals O-line trash and Vikings got exposed. So I think we all knew the Vikings secondary is booty cheeks. I think we knew that. I think if you watch the first game against the Packers, you can honestly say it's booty cheeks. What we're praising them for was their offense. It was not for their defense, because Aaron Rodgers is not his fault. Christian Watson dropped that fucking easy dime, just oh, hey, where'd it go? Butterfinger's ass. It's not his fault. And
we saw that. We saw him playing different against the Bears. Yes, he owns the Bears and everything. But look at who he targeted though. He targeted the people that he knows are capable of making those long catches, and the people who are not capable of making those long catches yet, he used them in the short game. Mm-hmm. And he freaking run the ball with Aaron Jones. I don't get why he's trying to make Watson or Dubs the next Devontae Adams, dude. They're not. No one's gonna be Devontae Adams. You have to teach him. But if they would have played like that against the Vikings, I think they should have won that game against the Vikings. It's just they were not composed.
I mean, week ones, I mean, sometimes it's just rough for the Packers. Look at the Packers last year against the Saints in week one. It was not pretty. They lost. Everyone shut them out. Everyone wrote their obituary, and then they went 13-3 the rest of the season. Trey had a comment. He said there was an interview where they said his play calling, talking about Mike McDaniels here, is smart because he did a 5 wide with 2 running backs, a tight end, which in the huddle you have to play heavy due to the lineup, and then Waddle burns down the middle wide open for 60 yards. What he's talking about, guys, is that play they're pretty much at their own end zone, essentially. And then they just go big play. They see an opportunity that they don't think that Ravens defense is ready for. And they prove right. They go in, Waddle does a double move, fucking cuts in and out, boom. Loses the defender, wide open, goes down the field, sets them up real nicely for the next play and moving forward the rest of the game. So, dude, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be an interesting season. Y'all, to y'all, not me, because I don't think I had the Dolphins into the playoffs this postseason. But y'all that picked them out, I mean, good early shout-outs right now. They're looking really good. We're going to see them nicely against the Bills this weekend. That should be a fun matchup. Someone's got to lose their undefeated streak, and one of those two teams will. Let's go ahead and talk about the Bills, man. Bills shut out the Titans. Essentially, they win the game, before the fourth quarter even starts. I think 5 minutes left in the third quarter. That game is already over, 41-7. One, is this more Titans not getting the job done on either side of the field, or is this just shows you how well Josh Allen and all the Bills, are doing right now? What factored more into this game to you?
So I think the O-line is one of the ones. I think is the offense, man. And I think the Titans don't know how to get around not having A.J. Brown yet. They haven't figured that piece out yet. And A.J. Brown used to open the field for them, which allowed Derrick Henry,
when healthy,
to plow through.
Yes.
So, their O-line is sucks, man. Tannehill does not look comfortable. He does not know who to throw the ball to. Woods was supposed to take over that wide receiver 1 role, man. He's not there. Treylon Burks looks all right. He's making his catches. But I think it's more on the Titans not having their stuff. But yet again, I'm not taking away the Bills' defense, dude. The Bills' defense, the way they played the first week, and then against the Titans, dude, they knew what they needed to do coming out of that gate and saying, if we don't stop them soon and quick, they're going to put points on us. And they know, the same way that they stopped the Titans the first week, man. You stop Derrick Henry, that's literally their only weapon right now. You can jump the gun and stop Henry before he gets going. Hey, that's it. He's only going to get a little bit of yardage. So at the end of the day, I think it's the defense on the Bills, the offense on the Titans, man, and damn, that connection between Josh Allen and Diggs. Ooh, that was freaking crazy, man. 3 touchdowns. And he is it. The way he says it, I am it. He is it. He's
Josh Allen, 317 yards, 4 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs going big with 3 of those 4 touchdowns for 140 plus yards, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Trey says Bills Allen and Diggs have massive chemistry. They do, man. And I want Vikings fans to remember, some of y'all wanted this man gone. And he was unhappy, right? He was unhappy, and fairly so. He was the younger guy between him and Thielen. He was the fresher legs, but y'all chose Thielen. Fine, okay. Y'all wanted him gone. Now Bills got him. Now Josh Allen, since Stephon Diggs has entered that building, man, they are just feeling it. Every year they're feeling it. They're feeling real good. Maybe it's slow start last year, but they get the job done. My big thing still is, right, because they're amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to shit on them. I want to see them do this all year long and all the way to the postseason, to anybody. I don't care who's in their way are. They need to do it to everybody. Whether it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, Lamar Jackson.
It's their kryptonite.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to get through it. You got to say, fuck it. I don't give a we get it. Everyone who I know last week, I think most of y'all picked the Chargers over the Chiefs. there's just that thing, bro. Or some people wanted the Celtics beat the Warriors in the NBA Finals. There's just this thing, bro. When you have that championship pedigree, when you get that first title, when you have a mindset of winning, you already know how to get the job done. This is perfect comment. He says the Bills D, Vaughn brought something to them. He is bringing a championship pedigree to that defense. That's what they needed. Can they hold it up? Can they stay healthy? Well, they don't even have Trey White yet. So when they do get him back, can they stay healthy? Can they all go all the way? This game was a blowout even without Gabriel Davis, our number 2 wide receiver. I want to see it. I want to see these guys go all the way through. Like, until they can get past that barrier, I don't have the confidence in them to say they're that championship team. But man, they are so much fun to watch. They are so much fun to see. And then this week, them at Miami, dude, I'm telling you, that's gonna be my game of the week. Like, that is like, if they had an option right now to transfer to Sunday Night Football, that would be it. Because damn, bro, like,
you want another doubleheader?
I don't care for the double headers. I don't mind that, but I'm just like, dude, like, this is gonna be a matchup because these two teams are gonna be fighting for the AFC East probably for a long time in the next few years. Alex has a comment saying Bills just on fire right now. D-line looking nice, but they are going down to hot Miami where teams struggle to play in the heat. They do, but at the same time, if you're a team that is disciplined, if you're a team that, you know, is focused and ready to go, it does that weather does not matter. You know, sometimes, yes, it affects. Tom Brady had a hard time there when he was still with the Patriots going to Miami. Hey, man, the teams that want him more, they'll win it. That's just as simple as that. So Buffalo's going to have to show, hey, and look, that defense, our teams are averaging 8.5 points. 8.5 points right now. So, yes, 2 games. It's early on. Yes, we know. This is going to be a different type of animal because now that defense, this is the real test. Now they have to play against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's going to be the real test. That's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Gesicki over there, still nice. You know, whether it's Mostert or Chase Edmonds, you know, that one is going to be a fucking clash. And so we'll see how it goes. The winner does not technically will win the division, but it does put them in a big lead in somehow, some way. So, and then Alex just said, I said Vaughn was going to be big for them, and Rams kicking themselves for letting them walk. You know what, man? It's just that thing, though, too. Like, you can't afford everybody. The Rams pay a lot of players a lot of money. And whether it's your quarterback, you know, Aaron Donald and stuff, it's just something you can do. They wanted him back. They want OBJ back. It's just that they can't afford him. And Vaughn sees something in Josh Allen that he's probably seen when he's played with Peyton, what he's seen with Stafford, and says, you know what? This team hasn't won a title yet. Let me make history. 3 teams, 3 titles. Let me make history. No one's ever done that. Let me do that. So Vaughn's putting a challenge on his shoulders, and he's trying to get it done. Art, is there any other game that this weekend that you saw that you were like, oh man, like let's talk about that? Like anything you want to discuss, like top of your mind? Thursday night football, Sunday, Monday night football.
The Thursday game, man, I think between the Chiefs and the Chargers, that was a good game, and
it was a lot of fun.
Apart from like yet again shitting on the Chiefs and everything, just me being being controversial, saying I don't like the Chiefs. Man, the Chiefs are good, and respect is due where it's due. Like, they've earned that respect. I just like to talk because they get some people riled up, though. Yet again, it's freaking pod show, man. Like, pod show energy. Like, we have to do that. But no,
pod or pod?
Pod. P-O-D.
Oh, okay. You said pod. I was like, whoa. April 20th is not my favorite day, okay?
Not yet.
Oh, chill.
No, but I think at the end of the day, I think it was a good game. The Chargers had that, man. Their defense, their freaking Chargers defense, like Bosa and Mac on defense, like, it's fucking crazy, man. But it's Mahomes. And I think at the end of the day, it's not that the Chiefs are bad. It's Mahomes, whenever he's composed, he makes the whole offense thrive. But whenever he gets flustered, and that's what I mean when I say, like, when the defense figures him out and he gets flustered, then you kind of start seeing a decline. But once he comes back in that second half, he's like, you know what? Like, I can do this. Then it's like, great. Like, you see that championship pedigree when he's not flustered. And we see the same thing with a lot of other quarterbacks. We see that with Aaron Rodgers. We see that with Josh Allen. We see that with Patrick Mahomes. So we've seen that with Brady, man, like throwing the freaking tablet on the ground. Like it's freaking crazy though. But I think at the end of the day, that was a great game. That whole conference is stacked apart from the Broncos right now. Like they need to get their shit together.
The Raiders,
but I think
the Raiders need to get their shit together. They're 0-2.
Like it's just one of those things, man. Like there was a lot of movements, head coaches, quarterbacks going to other places, wide receivers going to other places. So it's like learning the offense, learning how those people react, learning how the quarterback works. But I think at the end of the day, man, that was a good game. The Ravens, that was a freaking great game, man. Like also, but
I know.
shit show with Cowboys, man. Shit
Alex
show with
having
Cincinnati.
fun. He says, "Cowboys, baby, LOL." Look, Cowboys, a Cooper Rush. Give them their props. They won the game. They did what they needed to do to get there. Joe Burrow, 13 sacks in 2 weeks. 13. What was it, like 7 last week? Now 6 this week. Now, come on, man. Like this O-line is just failing. And this is supposed to be a better O-line. They paid for players. They got guys away from like the Bucs and other places just so they can get protection from them. And they can't do it. Now, a lot of things too, Joe Burrow might be hanging on to the ball way too long. You know, right? Like that could be another thing too. But like, damn, bro. Like y'all can't really be, letting your MVP at least, fucking be taking so many hits because he's not that far off from ligament tears. That was just 2 years ago.
Yep.
What happened last year was an anomaly for them because the Bengals don't get to the Super Bowl that often. They don't make the playoffs that often. So now that you're there, now that you have that Super Bowl high, are you using just the fact that you made it there just to feel comfortable? No, don't do that. You got to protect your guys. You got to go show up. You got to get the games done. You should not be losing the Cooper Rush. That defense, though, I will tell you this. Here's the difference because I know Alex is enjoying the Bengals losing and him saying like, oh, they're not going to make the playoffs at all. The Bengals have had 2 tough defenses first 2 games. The Steelers defense, that's a tough defense. Regardless, like the Patriots won the game, but barely won the game, okay? And they didn't have to deal with TJ Watt.
Or Minka.
Minka was there.
No, like they didn't have to like I'm saying like the Bengals had to deal with both TJ and Minka.
Right,
like,
okay.
The Cowboys didn't have to deal with that duo right now.
No, the Bengals. Or you know what I mean.
Like,
Anyways,
yeah.
I'm talking about the Bengals.
Yes, I get
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the Cowboys have Micah, who is leading in sacks right now. They have this strong defense, this leadership. Dan Quinn doing an amazing job for the Dallas defense. Dallas defense. Jesus Christ. Doing amazing work. So Bengals' first 2 weeks have had, tough defenses early on. Not going to happen all season long, but you also
next week, not this week.
No, they don't. And now you have to protect your guys. Like regardless, like you have to go and protect your guys. Otherwise, like how are you going to get there? You got Joe Flacco this week. Win that one, but you gotta overcome. Like now, they almost made the comeback last week, nice and all, but now you just can't lose anymore. Joe Burrow, smart. He got rid of Instagram. He got rid of Twitter. Yep. He's not listening to all the noise. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, and I think this week we have some juicy matchups, man. And there's like a couple of teams that have been down, and they're 0-2 or 1-1. This is literally their challenge to say, okay, is it a flux? Is it a flux because of the defense, the hard defense that they have, because of their O-line, because they try to upgrade it, because players don't know what they're playing, they're trying to get used to each other. Like some of the players did not play during preseason. Like I think you're 2 weeks in. This is your third week. Either you have your shit together or you don't. Either you know what you're doing and you're like, okay, we're back in the NFL. Let's play. And I think the Bengals is one of those that has to win this game. If they lose against the Jets, it goes back to the other point that I was going to make, man. Like money does not make your team. Money does not make a Super Bowl team unless it's money well spent. We saw that with the Rams last year. They spend a shit ton of money. They have like the highest cap hit they're going to get next year. But they went ahead and picked key players. They kept key players in their offense or their defense. We see that with the freaking Philly right now, with the Eagles. Like they went ahead and like they built their team in a slow way, but to be a contender. the Lions are kind of doing the same thing, man. Like that O-line, I think maybe not this year, but I think next year, the freaking Lions are going to be one of those contenders in that division because they're freaking scary with the weapons that they have around them.
Like, they're developing. They're moving on well. Jared Goff's not being a scrub right now. He's feeling confident with this team. They're trusting him with a lot of stuff.
But think about it. If they get a new quarterback in the draft next year,
if they're low enough, yeah.
But if they get a new quarterback or they get their franchise quarterback, they're set. Like the Lions would be set with the weapons, with the O-line, with their defense, as long as they make those smart key like purchases or draft picks. That's all I'm saying. Like I think this week is going to be one of those like, are these offenses or defenses for real?
Yeah, Trey's excited for the Raiders versus Titans because someone has to win. Well, I would tell you that someone does need to win, Trey, but we've already seen a tie this season, so there's anything could happen. Honestly, God, anything could happen. Ask the Colts fans who've already want Frank Wright gone. And then Alex also says, "I told y'all Bengals were going to struggle. Yes, they play some good deep. I mean, they do, man. The defense has been tough. Like you're talking about.
I don't think that they're struggling, man. Like it's
no. For their offense struggling against good defenses. That's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, like you have to think about like they made all these additions, and like everyone's like I said, it's the same thing. Everyone's saying that they made money acquisitions to their O-line. That's what they upgraded. That's what they decided to upgrade. We've seen that with the Jaguars. Like, look at the Jaguars. Like they spend a bunch of money on like key wide receivers. Coaching? I think at the end of the day, man, I think it's how the coach, if it's a new coach or if it's a coach with a new offense.
Well, this is Zach Taylor's coach. This is he's back again.
It's the same one. But like I feel like it's how are you going to like adapt to the game? Like if you're down, run the ball or throw the ball. Like whichever one's gonna benefit that. Like how are you gonna like change your offense or your take on it to make the stop or to make the win? I think at the end of the day, that's the thing. Yes, they did horribly. They're not protecting Burrow. Some of these guys have not played together, though, and we have to think about that. But at the end of the day, this is a championship, also a Super Bowl team that was there last year. Yeah. They should not be doing what they're doing against some of these teams.
Last word on the Bengals situation. They will get the job done. They might not win the division because Lamar Jackson's looking great, but I think they still make the playoffs. I legitimately do believe that. Now people will say, "Oh, well, they're 0-2. The last 2 years, teams that start 0-2 don't make the playoffs." Yeah, that's the last 2 years. That doesn't mean shit. I saw the Chiefs start 0-5 and still make the playoffs. So, anything could happen.
0-5 this week.
Jesus Christ, you and your 0-7 prediction. That didn't go well. All right, so enough about that. Let's start with our predictions. All right, so let's go ahead and round out and close our episode tonight. So I have everyone's predictions. Yours the only one since they couldn't make it. I have now just to pick your brain, and you get to pick mine. So, Thursday night football, Steelers at Browns. What do you got?
Man, this is a juicy conference. Like, this is a juicy matchup, man.
Both teams are 1-1.
I'm gonna say the Steelers, man. I think the Steelers take this one after the sorry loss last week of letting their defense just going down. And letting the Patriots go, like they need to do better, man. Trubisky needs to step up and do something, or hey, you know what? This is not their year, and just put Pickett in.
They're Kenny already. They're chanting for Kenny.
Like that's like what you need to do, and that's one thing. Like as a fan, if you're saying like we won the backup, it's one of those things that like it doesn't let that quarterback have the confidence that he showed. Or that he needs to show. So I think the Steelers need to win this one. I'm going with the Steelers, man.
All right. So the only other person that is in agreement with you is Marco. Marco has also picked out the Steelers.
Let me change that. Let me change
it to the Browns. It's too late. It's already final. Alex, myself, and Trey are picking the Browns. We are going with them. Now, I can't explain why they're going for them, but my thing is too, the Browns cost themselves that game in the last 2 minutes, but they looked like the better team. Yeah. With Jacoby Brissett, that defense, that special teams, they let Jacoby Brissett down. There's a lot of criticism.
Just so you know, Myles Garrett is not playing this game, and neither is their safety, I believe.
That's fine.
They're down 2 of their key pieces on defense. So
what does defense matter when they fucking blow a fucking 13-point
lead
lead
to the Jets.
in 2 minutes. I'm picking the Browns. I think they got the stupid elf now on their field. That's going to motivate them to freaking just try to get a win already. They have the better offense. That run game between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is going to be dangerous still. Kareem Hunt is what? Leading the league or second in the league right now in rushing yards?
No.
He's in the top 5. He's in the top
5, but I think the RB1 right now or leading one is Chubb.
That's what I said. I said Chubb.
I thought you said Kareem Hunt was leading.
No, I was talking about Chubb. Chubb is 2. Saquon's number 1. Anyways, I think he says, yeah. Alex says, y'all better not shake y'all's head on my picks. There is a few already that I'm going to shake my heads on. So I think Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt's going to be dangerous. Amari Cooper is looking nice right now, like he always does in early on in the season. It's more later in the season that he won't.
Are they going to be hanging out Keebler cookies, man, at the stadium now?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Keebler elf cookies, though, the little chocolate cookies, man. You know what? Like, you need to see them, but.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me a picture later. Anyways, so everyone else picks the Browns. You and Marco pick the Steelers. All right, give me your pick for Ravens at Patriots. This is a Patriots home opener.
The Ravens need to bounce back from last week, so I'm gonna go Ravens.
All right. Everyone else agrees with you,
except you.
As do I. No, as do I. No, I'm picking the Ravens. The Ravens just choked 1-2 the Dolphins. We've already explained that in detail. Look, Patriots, they're going to try to fight. It's their home opener. They're not going to try to like bend over and just take it, right? There might be a blowout though because Lamar Jackson, the run game is going to be fucking dangerous. Mark Andrews, just a stud as hell. Devin Duvernay, fucking being fantastic. Rashad Bateman.
I don't know if he's going to play though.
Does it matter?
I
mean, maybe. We'll see. But it's a noon game. We'll see how it goes. But I do have the Ravens winning, toppling, the Patriots. It hurts me to say, but, it is what it is. I don't have the Patriots really as a playoff team. So we'll go there. All right. Texans at Bears.
So I'm going to stick to the Bears, man. And the reason why, and this is one of those teams that I was saying, they have the matchup. They don't have, here's the thing, like this season, they don't have to win. But yet again, like everyone's talking shit on the Bears. Like they're rebuilding. We don't know what their offense looks like. We don't know what their pieces are. They're still doing rotations on their offensive line. Like they need to figure that shit out. They need to let Justin Fields throw. I think against the Texans, it's a good time to
and that's a big thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. Well, like that's a big thing. Like you're not letting the man throw. Like, how do you go week 2 against the Packers, not really run the ball effectively, and only let Justin Fields throw the ball 11 times? That's shit. That's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry.
And the O-line, dude, the O-line was not bad against the Packers. Like, if you look at the highlights, like some of those rookie O-linemen or the second-year O-linemen, dude, they were keeping the freaking the Bears, the Packers defense on their toe. They were putting them on the ground, and you were not giving the chance to Justin Fields to throw the ball. This is my take. Like, I think they need to beat the Texans this week. They need to show something that they're trusting Fields on it. And if Fields is not the guy, dude, then
is this more on Eberflus or is this more on like the OC? What do you think? I mean, because like we've mentioned, Trey's mentioned, he's been very adamant about this. The young guys need an offensive-minded head coach. Is this a thing where a defensive-minded head coach is making bad decisions for his young, second-year quarterback?
So, yes and no. We've never seen the Bears are not known for having great wide receivers. They're always known for having either a good running back or a good defense. That's what they're known for. They're trying to go back to that championship team, which is great. Right. I get it. But Eberflus, dude, like I think what needs to be established is that, and I see it now. I see it on the first game. I didn't see it so much on the second game. The mindset that the Bears are in, they're playing more like a team. They're protecting the quarterback whenever he gets hit. Like you see the lineman going and helping him up. We did not see that from Nagy's offense or defense. Like they were down and they were like, whatever. I don't see that with the Bears. Yet again, they need to trust in Fields and say, okay, let him play. So y'all can address those open holes and say, you know what, next year, whenever we have the cap space, then we can spend some of that money smartly and fill those gaps in. But you need to let him throw. You can't just say, oh, let's fix the O-line first and then I'll throw the ball later, 2-3 games down.
Well, you, Alex, and Trey all got the Bears. Myself and Marco have the Texans. Look, the Texans, I'll say this right now. They're not looking great. I won't say great. They're looking good. They're looking good. All right. Like they're looking better than
the Bears, though.
Right. Davis Mills is not a scrub. Like he's like thrown just 417 for the season so far. Not too bad, but at the same time, like it wasn't really effective against the Denver's, defense last week. That game was kind of a shit show. It is what it is for that one, but they were beating the Colts, and that's with Michael Pittman. That was with Alex Pierce. That was with Jonathan Taylor running the ball around. They held it to a tie. Yes, they should have won the game, but they held it to a tie. Last week, they were holding Denver down pretty well. Russell Wilson was struggling heavily on his throws, not getting connection with his receivers at all until late in the matter. That we have the Texans winning, and I think that's more of the reason why is because I think they're having more of a chemistry set already than the Bears do right now. Yeah, obviously, that things can change. Bears can easily take the win too. It's also at Soldier Field, but right now I have the Texans winning. All right, give me your prediction for Raiders at Titans. Someone has to win.
This is gonna be a good one though. I like the Raiders. I like the Raiders in the sense of like what they have offensively wise, and especially after that shootout with the Cardinals, man.
I don't know what you mean by, hey, don't say that. Say what? What, Trey? You don't say the what? What did I say?
I want the Titans to win, man. And I think fuck, man. I'm going to go Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders on this one.
Okay.
Let me flip a coin. Damn it.
I mean, it's at Tennessee too. So, I mean.
Let me go with the Titans. I think the Titans this is the game also. The Titans have it. I'm going to go with Henry, man. I have him on my fantasy league, man. I need him to do something. So I'm
I'm a Russ hater. I'm not a Russ hater. First of all, I ain't a Russ hater. But it's not my fault. He started 4-20. The fuck you want me to? It's Nathaniel Hackett. If you have anybody to call a Russ hater, call Nathaniel Hackett. Him. What the hell is going on over there? Don't call me that. The fuck? Go on.
But now I'm going with the Titans, man. The Titans seem to pull this win.
The Titans not the Raiders?
No, I'm going to go with the Titans on this one.
All right. So Trey's with you. He's all the way with you on that one. Trey got the Titans winning, but the rest of us have the Raiders. The Raiders have looked good their first two games. They just don't end up finishing the job. They're like that,
They're like the Lions last year, man.
No, just it sounds as stupid as hell. They're like that good-looking guy that just has this, small dick. That's pretty much what he is right there. That's what the Raiders are.
A little whiskey dick.
Yeah, there you go. A little whiskey dick. Shrimp dick. Whatever. The Raiders need to finish the job. And first of all, Alex, when you fix your internet connection, you can tell us to shut the fuck up.
You're late to that party.
I know. You're a whole week late, sir. Nah, but I got the Raiders. So does Alex and Marco. And I can't speak for them, but I think the Raiders have the better weapons. They have the better defense. They just need to get the job done. They just need they have the more better surroundings. And like you mentioned, Derrick Henry has not been looking great his first 2 weeks. He hasn't looked like his explosive self. He hasn't had that big run where he bulldozes everybody and runs it in for a touchdown. Maybe this is the week. But in the first 2 weeks, he just hasn't seemed like himself. It could be coming back from the injury. It could be the fact that he didn't play preseason. He's just trying to get, his motor running. But at the end of the day, man, they don't look that good. They looked horrific against the Bills. It wasn't even a close contest. So I'm gonna pick the Raiders, just as Alex and Marco did. All right, give me Chiefs at Colts.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, man. The Colts have just looked weird, man. And yet again, I know it's the second week. Everyone's still it's freaking limbo out here, man. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs at the Colts, man.
Everyone agrees with you. Everyone. There's not really much to say. The Chiefs are looking good. They're putting points on the board like they're supposed to. The Colts don't know what's going on. Actually, I do know. They were overrated as hell with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has not looked good his first 2 weeks. It's been awful. Last week,
Carson
the
Wentz
Colts.
looks better.
Last week, the Colts, who did not have Michael Pittman Jr., did not have Alex Pierce, don't have Shaq Leonard the first 2 weeks. They said, you know what, Jonathan Taylor? You're our best guy. And you know what we're going to do with you?
Nothing.
We're going to make you run the ball 9 times only in 60 minutes. 9 fucking times. And you want to tell me the Colts are going to win the division?
Nah.
Who's winning the division right now? The Jags?
It's
Come
the same
on.
thing, man. It's the same thing as the Panthers, man. Like, Baker is not using his best weapon to his advantage. Matt Ryan is not using his best weapon for his advantage either. Like,
to be fair, it's not them because yes, they can call audible sometimes, but they don't, as we said before or we've heard before, they don't have the power to make that call. That's the coaching staff. That is the OC. That is a head coach. Y'all need to be getting shit done. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, they should be going explosive. That's why Saquon Barkley is leading the league right now in rushes.
But I think that's where the quarterback needs to earn that trust, man. Like we've seen that with Russ. Like if you don't earn that trust and you don't say, you know what, I am the play caller, I know what I'm able to do. Like, man, that's a coach's fault.
But we know for a fact those guys aren't it. Yes, Matt Ryan's an former MVP, but what has he done in the last 6 years? Nada. Baker, yes, he made the Browns go to the playoffs first time in fucking 5,500 million years. Like, cool, that's not enough.
But they trust.
They're not there yet. It's not enough. It's just not enough. So we'll move on to the next one. The game of the week, in my opinion, Bills at Dolphins.
Damn. I don't know. You tell me first, man.
I picked the Bills. Their way, yes. But we saw them stuff both the Rams' amazing offense, because the Rams' offense is still great, and they stuffed Derrick Henry and whatever's left of the Titans and Ryan Tannehill. 8.5 points they've allowed, like as far as average-wise, between the first 2 games. The Dolphins are going to do more, but here's the thing too. The Dolphins also had to give up 35 points to Lamar Jackson and everything early on. I don't think that Buffalo will allow them to come back like that against them. And I think Buffalo can't put that many points back up against the Dolphins. So I don't trust the Dolphins defense. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
So I love the Dolphins, man. And love the Dolphins the way they're playing. I like how they're using the new weapons. I like how they're using Waddle, though. But I agree with you on the sense of the letting a bunch of points getting scored on so that they can make the comeback. Great. It was like an awesome comeback. I'm going with the Bills, man. Diggs and freaking like Josh Allen have this connection. Gabriel Davis should be back. And Isaiah McKenzie on that. Like, you have 3 freaking weapons that are great. You don't need your running backs, but they help.
Let's say it again, Art. It took Lamar Jackson running 79 yards, touchdown. Took him throwing to Rashad Bateman 75 yards, touchdown. It took a Devin Duvernay running back to start off the game on a kickoff, 103 yards, touchdown. That offense, that team is not as strong as the offense in Buffalo. Like, no disrespect.
I'm not going against what's his name? Against Jay, man.
that and fantasy guys he's talking about. That offense is not as good, rising against the Buffalo's offense. That team is gonna freaking hurt Miami in Miami. So I have me, yourself, Marco, and Trey all have Buffalo. Alex, the odd man out.
If he gets this pick again, man, like
he's been very fortunate to get those like oddball. Of course, I did get the Patriots one. I was like, yeah, ka-chow.
I did get the Jags.
Right, sure, but he got like 3 of them. Fucking got all afternoon games. Sweet. All right, Lions at Vikings.
I think the Vikings, man. I think the Vikings get it. This is a division matchup. It's at Minnesota against the Lions. The Lions look good.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and it's a good offense, the fact that they're throwing the ball, but you need to open that damn field. Like you have Thielen, you have Cook, man. You're not using Cook the way you used him. And all you're looking at is at Jefferson. Like once they take your weapon, like, oh, cool. Like
I think Jefferson was 6 for 12. He was targeted 12 times, only got half of them. But the poorly throws by Kirk Cousins as well. Poorly thrown balls. Look, here's the thing. Like, yes, the Lions have been giving up a lot of points, but they're also in return putting up a lot of points as well. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson. I mean, they're looking good. And now it's that sneaky good, right? Because we all had the Cowboys going into the wild card. Trey had them winning division, but now you have that opening that just allows a team like the Washington Commanders, that allows the Detroit Lions just to say, you know what? Don't underestimate us. We got a shot. We got a shot. So we don't know yet. We might see some kind of upsets to go in there. So you officially picked the Vikings. I picked the Vikings. Marco picks the Vikings. Both Trey and Alex picked the Lions.
That's a good pick. It's a good upset.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick at all. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. Alex says Kirk is trash. Kirk is trash. You're right. Most of the time, he's a guy who's 60, 60, and 2. For a guy who gets paid a lot, he's an under 500 quarterback. But I'm going to trust that, this offensive-minded team now, is going to do something good. And we'll see. I mean, the Lions struggle sometimes with their defense. Aiden Hutchinson did get 3 sacks, though, so that's going to be nice to see this matchup. This is Division 1. It can go either way. It could honestly go either way, and I'm not going to be mad of who wins. It's Vikings can win, Lions can win, anyone could win this week. Bengals at Jets.
I'm gonna go Bengals, man. The Bengals need to win this one. And I know I keep saying they need to win this one, because they do need to win this one. All these teams that I'm saying they need to win, it's like, okay, what do they have behind them? But the Bengals should get this win. They have T. Higgins, they have Chase. It's just their O-line needs to get the shit straight, man. Against the Jets, they should be able to do something. Now, I know everyone likes the Garrett Wilson and the Elijah Moore and Corey Davis and Joe Flacco being in fantasy top 2 or top quarterback, top 3 quarterback.
He's up there, dude.
He's up there, but I think they're gonna need more. They're just gonna need more to beat this team.
I think he's number 3 right now on passing yards. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that's he's at 3. Crazy. Joe Flacco, 2022, top 3 passing yards. Here's the thing, and this is a thing that people need to remember. If anyone knows the AFC North better than anybody, it's Joe Flacco. He just beat an AFC North team last week, made the freaking comeback. It's insane. Who would have thunk Flacco 10 years after he won the Super Bowl that he'd still be around or being, a game changer, you could say. But I have the Bengals. That defense in the Jets is not as good as, some people would want them to be, or, Jets fans would want them to be. They're not at the caliber of the Cowboys. They're not the caliber of the Steelers. Joe Flacco, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, all these guys, they need to go now. This is it. You need to go fucking playoff mode now, because if you're gonna say this stagnant, don't even show up for week 4.
Yep.
You can't lose to the Jets. The Browns shouldn't have lost to the Jets. Don't lose to the Jets. Simple as that. Zach Taylor, do your shit. Otherwise, you'll be finding yourself unemployed real soon. Everyone but Alex has the Bengals. Alex again goes for the Jets. He is adamant that the Bengals are gonna suck the same way I feel adamant about the Colts gonna suck. So he's going to go with the Jets on this one while the rest of us pick the Bengals. Eagles at Commanders.
Another division one, man. I'm going to call this one the upset, man. I think the Eagles, I'm going to go with the upset of this one. So I love the Eagles. I like how they're playing. Yep. No. But we did mention it last week. The Commanders are that sneaky pick.
Oh,
I love how Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and Terry McLaurin are playing behind Carson Wentz. What Carson Wentz could not have done, what he didn't do with the Colts last year, he's doing it with the Commanders. So I'm calling this one the upset of the week, man.
So and let me ask you this: if the Carson Wentz wins this one and starts looking good, Was it really more Carson Wentz or was it the Colts? Just kidding. We know it was Carson Wentz us here, but
It's
still,
Carson.
that's you went the upset route. So
I
everyone
went the
picked
upset on this one. I'm going the upset route on this one.
Everyone picked the Eagles, but you. Wow. Yeah, I don't really have to explain why I'm picking the Eagles, or I don't think anyone needs to explain because we've seen what they're doing. They're setting themselves up to be the top team in the NFC right now. They have really let themselves separate. They've separated themselves from everyone else. So they're looking freaking really good right now. So I'm gonna, that's why I'm picking the Eagles. They're looking great. I don't see, them giving an inch, this week either. So we'll see. Saints at Panthers, another divisional matchup.
Man, I like the Saints. I like what they're doing. Jameis Winston is just like freaking like it's just both teams, man. This is one of those games that I would not want to watch just because I feel it's gonna be like last week. It's gonna be a trashy game, trying to put up points on it, trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
All right.
They did lose to the Bucs last week. They were winning, so I'm gonna go. Man, I called the Panthers last week. I'm gonna go Saints.
All right. Everyone but Trey agrees with you. We all picked the Saints to win. I think just more has to do with just the fact that
it's okay. Keep picking them. You keep jinxing them.
Well, yeah, I mean that's true. Like he's picked the Panthers every week and they haven't won yet. One comment from last week's episode said, "Trey, you're jinxing my shit." He appreciates you picking him though, but he said you're jinxing the team. We all picked the Saints, but him. I think that defense is still top notch. You saw how effective that Marshawn Lattimore bent ejection was because that's what opened the floodgates, right? Like Mike Evans took out Lattimore, they both got ejected, and then it opened the gate for like the whole team to like just go off. And now the Bucs started like putting up points out of nowhere. That's how important Marshawn Lattimore is to that team. So he didn't get suspended on like a Mike Evans. So I think the Saints win this one out. Give me Jaguars or Chargers.
Another battle of two young studs. Damn. Hold on. Because Herbert's day-to-day with that rib injury, though. But
yeah, that's a big one. Traylon Walker's on the other side. Hunting. Looking. Wanting to kill.
The way that the Jags looked last week against the Colts, and just because of the quarterback play.
Also divisional matchup.
I don't know. Man, fuck. This is a good one.
It could be a false hope for you if you pick the Jaguars. But you will see. The Carolina White Knicksers. That logo, eh?
I'm going to go with the Chargers because of their defense. And Khalil Mack and Bosa. And if Herbert does play, he doesn't need to play. He can just jump the ball to Eckler, which we haven't seen in the past 2 weeks. But I think this matchup allows him to do that for Eckler. So I'm going to pick the Chargers.
Well, you have also, too, like Eckler should be involved more in the running. Obviously, he's more for the pass catching. But you really have a lot of, like, options at the running back position for the Chargers. Like, get through the ball, get to motion. I think, though, honestly, like that injury happened on a Thursday night game. That's a 10-day recovery for the most part, whatever rehab you can do compared to, like, the other teams. So I think he'll be fine. I mean, we saw that he still slung that fucking ball even on that 4th and 1. So we know he can still throw. So it just depends, like, how well they tape him up, how well the rehab's gone this week. Everyone picks the Chargers. Nobody picked the Jaguars. So that might be the one where everyone gets it wrong. But I think Chargers they're just too talented, right, to lose to. No offense to a team like the Jaguars. They're just that damn talented. All right, give me Rams at Cardinals. Oh, I'll tell you. I'm picking Rams. Fuck Kyler Murray. Fuck Kyler Murray. I don't give a damn about Kyler Murray. I think he got lucky as hell. I think that team should have taken a big fat L. He's bitching because a fan smacked in the face. I think the fans were just trying to celebrate with him, and he just
man, they were celebrating with him. Like you can see the arm, like it overextends, like all the way out, and this is what hits him, and he's like,
no. So it was a different video angle, slow motion. It was the fan behind that fan, the one in the Cardinals jersey.
Yeah, it's the one that reaches.
The Cardinals jersey is the one that reaches right here, right? But that's not the one. That's not the one he's complaining about. Right before he turned back and got hit there,
it's the one that
he
hits right
actually,
here.
in the face.
Like you see it like on that
right.
on that video that I'm
Yeah,
talking about, he gets hit
he's
on the
just.
face.
But they're reaching to celebrate. They ain't trying to beat you up. Like, and then he shows the guy with the phone in his hand, like, you should be charged, bitch. Don't be crying. So I'm picking the Rams. I'm
going Rams in this one.
I'll side with little bitches.
Come on, little Mr. Henderson. Give me the win this week.
Right. At Cam Makers stage, they're starting to trust him more. He looked good. So we'll see how that running back situation goes. I know it's confusing for fantasy owners. Myself, you, and Marco picked the Rams. Alex and Trey, Cardinals. They're going for that home division win right there. Alex says Murray's a dog. A fucking Chihuahua.
Trash time.
Fucking Chihuahua. Where was he most of the game? Like, you're lucky the Raiders got tired. I mean, that's really it. Like, and then fucking Hunter Renfro got concussed and knocked out. They fumbled the ball. So, I mean, like I said, I don't trust Kyler Murray, and there's no reason for me to trust him. So we'll see.
I'll be right back, man. Give me a second.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna go full screen right now. All right, and I'll freaking pick his picks in a bit, just to let the rest of y'all know. So far, Alex is leading the pack in pick'em right now. He's at 19, 12, and 1. So every time we look at him and say, your shit is, weird. The teams that you've been picking is weird. Well, we're the weird ones because apparently he's fucking doing the right stuff. We're doing the wrong stuff here. Trey agrees. Trey, clarify with me what you're agreeing with, but it's just going to be a rough, season for us picking because anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Art's tied in last place with Trey at 14, 17, and 1. I'm in second at 17, 14, and 1. And Marco's in third with 16, 15, and 1. Trey agrees that he's a dog. Nah. He ain't him. He ain't him. I don't agree.
Sorry about that, man. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go check up on the baby. But
you good, man.
No, like, yes, Kyler, he's a dog, whatever you want to say, but
he's not a dog.
I don't think the offense is the offense, and they don't open the field without Hopkins in there. And we'll have to see how that affects once Hopkins comes in. But
the Raiders just choked that one. That's it. That's all.
They popped the bottles too early.
That was 20-0. And then they choked. So that's on the Raiders. That's not because Kyler Murray's a dog. Like, not to me. Like, he didn't impress me like Tua impressed me. That's a different, like, that for me. Like, that's the major difference. It's like Tua fought like with the team. Kyler Murray, yeah, he ran around, fucking going like 20 yards back and then 40 yards forward. But nah, I don't think it's him. Falcons at Seahawks.
Are the Falcons gonna put up like 20 points and then choke again?
It's in Seattle. Might. Is Kyle Pitts going to make a showing other than 2 catches and 19 yards back-to-back weeks?
Damn. I'm going to go with – I'm going to pick Seattle on this one. Shit, man. This is another game that I'm not looking forward to watch.
It's a shit show. Trey is still wondering, where was this Seattle the week 1? Because week 2 showed the real Seattle.
Damn, dude. Go first. Let me look into something real quick. What's your pick?
I picked the Falcons. I think Falcons. Marcus Mariota looked nice. Not too bad with that team. Drake London's looking really good with them. There's nothing really telling me, Art, that's like, oh, man, like, either you could pick either one, right? But, like, this is just – he's saying I assume it's because of how Seattle performed. Like, honestly, whatever you pick, it's whatever. Like, honestly, there's not a team that's like outstanding. Like, DK Metcalf has been shut down the first 2 weeks, essentially. Like, he hasn't looked the greatest. Tyler Lockett's not looking that bad, but like, how much do you really trust like Pete Carroll in Seattle? So Trey says Seattle never played that good again. He's not wrong. It took the fans booing Russ to play that good.
So I'm going to go with the Falcons, apart from your take. The reason why, and I wanted to look at the score, the Falcons can put up points. They have Kyle Pitts. They're not using him the way that he should be used. Cordell Patterson looked great the first week though, but that rookie receiver, man, like he's the one that's making those catches. He's the one that's making those plays, and I think the Seahawks need to like play from the back for them to win. And it was their defense that held up the Broncos the first week. And I think it was just a revenge game for them saying, okay, Russ, like we're going to show you what you left. Yet again, this past game, it was kind of like, whatever. The 49ers just made trash with them. But glad there's a worse team than the Bears that the 49ers lost or beat.
Potentially. We'll see how the season goes on, right? Everyone picked the Falcons. So that could have been like the one where we all get wrong, but Seattle did not move the ball well last week. Now, also, that's the San Francisco defense. That's different from the Atlanta defense. So this is a weird pick 'em. Anyone could be right or wrong on this one, but I think the Falcons just have the better weapon. No, it's not the better weapon. That's not the right one. Cordell Patterson is going to be probably the key difference maker here, honestly. That's really what's probably going to be it. All right. And then I guess America's game of the week for Fox. It's Packers at Bucks.
I'm going to give it to the Bucks, man. I still don't think the Packers have that, man. Like, I know I had them, and I said it, like with a straight face, that I have them at the last spot of the division, though. Yes, Rodgers, he's the freaking MVP and everything, though. But watching that game against the Bears, dude, like, yes, you went ahead and you threw the ball and you put touchdowns on it. But the one that put the touchdowns on it was Jones. Like, it was your running backs moving the ball. And yes, you made better throws on it. Yet again, it was a division matchup. The Bears always seem to choke against the Packers. We've seen that. That's why he's the owner. But the first game against the Vikings, they didn't have their shit together. They don't have deep throwers, and I think the Buccaneers are going to be able to take that away. And putting one MVP to the GOAT, like, this is the GOAT contention. Like, there's no way Rodgers like beats Brady, man. Like, this is his back. Even though Brady has his own drama at home and everything, man, like, Brady's going to take this one.
So Alex agrees with you. Alex picked the Buccaneers as well. I'm picking the Packers, as well as Marco and Trey. I can't speak for them, but for me, it's more, look, it's going to be a gritty matchup, this one. I think it's going to be where you don't have Mike Evans. You don't know what Chris Godwin's going to be. So now you bring in Cole Beasley. You have Julio Jones. You have these things where you don't, like, they will be decent, but that Packers defense is also not a scrub. Like, it's a top 10 defense, in my opinion. What were you going to say?
So here's the thing, and this is something that I think the game last week would have been closer. If the Bears would have ran the ball the way they ran that first set, they would have kept the game closer with Montgomery. They moved away from that. The Vikings, they didn't run the ball, but they were playing stone against, or were they playing man-to-man or so? I don't remember. Against the Vikings, though. Jefferson just did shit with them. The Bucks, they have Leonard Fournette, man. Leonard Fournette has not been let loose, and I think this is the game that Leonard Fournette lets loose, and he's going to run all over the Packers defense, though. I think that's the reason why the Bucks.
In week one. He ran loose in week one. It was week two that it was just a shit show because that front four for the Saints is really good. And then Trey mentioned the same thing I mentioned, and then Alex says Bucks D gonna be big. Bucks D won't let them run the ball. I mean, right? There's no denying, right? Because Cowboys didn't run the ball. Well, they ran the ball well, actually. They just stopped running the ball for whatever reason. They just stopped deciding using Zeke and Pollard. And then Alex is answering your question. He said they play zone. So I don't know, man. AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, that's if they can create that run game, if they create it, and I think they can, that's a difference maker, honestly. And we know it right now, like that, O-line is not protecting very well Brady.
But they're not protecting Rodgers either. Like, he got rocked against the Bears, though.
I mean, he got some
hits.
Not
the best D.
But he got hit after like he ran around for a while. Yeah, he's been sacked 7 times. Like it's frustrating as hell for him, but I don't know, man. And Alex says Tom will eat up that zone defense. He might, man, but it's also you're also going in with a lot of weaker, weapons on on the outside. Outside of Leonard Fournette, Julio Jones, not the same guy. He sat out last week, right? Already, he hurt. Cole Beasley hasn't practiced or played all season, so now a team finally picks him up. We'll see how that goes. Scotty Miller. So it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those shit shows almost. Like who's gonna be able to put up the more field goals, really? Like,
yeah.
So
I agree with you on that. I can see that.
It's also. I mean, it's Tampa's home opener, I think, right? So, fuck, it's gonna be tough. And we mentioned too that Florida thing. It could be a factor. So,
I just think that Leonard Fournette's gonna run through the Packers, man. And I think as of right now, Julio's questionable, but he is supposed to play against the Packers. If Julio plays you, I think Julio's about to break out also if he plays. But I think
Jair Alexander can do his best. It's not going to be like he's going to dominate him like Darius Slay over Jefferson, but we'll see how it goes. It should be a fun matchup. And then Sunday Night Football, that is Niners at Broncos. This is going to be one that might hurt Trey internally. What is your answer?
Man, this one.
Jimmy G.
This is a nice game. I think this is going to be a good game. I'm going to go with another upset on this one. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Wow. Sorry. Still had water in my mouth the whole time. I was like, Jesus.
They may be without Jared Judy this coming week because of the shoulder, the sternum injury, though.
But is Russ really going to cook that Niner defense?
That's the thing.
What's the difference maker? What's the difference maker? Is Russ going to cook them, or is it going to be more Javonte and Melvin Gordon?
So I think in this game, man, I think Russell actually does what Russ is known for. I think he's going to throw the ball to Sutton. I think Sutton is going to open that field up, and I think Javonte is going to run through the 49ers. Yet again, I know that first game with the 49ers, we didn't see that. Montgomery ran that ball through the 49ers also. Yes, there was rain and everything, but he was able to run that ball. And it's not the best O-line. And I think the Broncos have that. I think they're able to run the ball through him. So I'm going to go with Broncos on this one. I don't know what Trey picked.
Trey picked the Broncos. He's not going to go against this. I think I'm the first one to go against my team this week with the Patriots not winning against the Ravens. Everyone else every week has so far picked their team. So I know Pats fans are out there going to look at me as like a traitor. Oh, well, I'm trying to win. Niners. That team is remotivated. They're hungry. They said, we're doing this for Trey, but we're glad Jimmy's here. That's true.
They raised the cup. They were like,
they said, you know what? I'm going to get this teriyaki sauce for Trey. For his broken ankle, we will go out there and we will succeed. And Russell Wilson will once again lose to the Niners, a team he has struggled. And then Alex says Russ can have his game in this one. He does, but you didn't pick him. You picked the Niners as well as in Marco.
Does he want to switch it?
Nah, it's too late. I got his answers already. It's too late. Nah, I think we're talking about Debo, Ayuk. That running back, we never know. Fucking Kittle, I think he's finally supposed to actually show up this week. After the first 2 weeks gone. Danger as hell. And then we're talking about the defense. Fred Warner. Nick Bosa. Fucking does not matter what you got. Like, that team is scary as hell. You saw yourself in person. That Niners defense will stop being the Bears for the most part until the second half, and then shit went sideways. This week, they destroyed the Seattle Seahawks. And Alex says, no, I still got San Francisco. That's right. That's right. Russ can play, but guess what? He's playing against guys that know him. And as Tyler Lockett pointed out, Russ is still using the same game signals. He said, so guess who's gonna know that more than anybody? The Niners.
Yeah.
Former division rivals for him. So me, Alex, and Marco picked the Niners. All right, and to close it out. Yes, you and Trey.
Cowgirls against the Giant Girls.
Hey. That's right. It's going to be Cowboys at Giants. What do you got?
Man, this is...
We got a 1-1 team with their backup quarterback against a 2-0 team that is feeling revitalized with Coach Brian Dabble there. And Saquon is back. Alex is right. Saquon is finally back.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
Oh,
the only reason why I'm going Cowboys is because of the defense, man. I think their defense has been able to stop. I mean, they stopped the freaking Bengals. They shouldn't have. Bengals should have played better, though. But the Giants, I think their only good thing right now is their play calling, and they're being able to run the ball with Barkley. And I think Cowboys stop that, man.
Alex, Marco, and Trey agree with you. And Trey says, same D is nasty.
That's what she said.
I'm picking the Giants. I don't think Cooper Rush can keep up this momentum. We're talking about Monday Night Football, so the spotlight is now really on him outside of just the fact that, it's not at Cowboy Stadium. He's a Cowboys player. I'm the sole one picking the Giants in this one. And I could be wrong very easily. It could be very easily wrong. It could also be called the Cowboys hater if you want. Whatever. Call me Stephen A. I don't care. But that Giants team with Coach Double is looking nice. They came up and upset the Titans. Last week, they win again. Like, they're feeling really good, about everything. And Trey says, yeah, but more time to prep. Maybe so. But I think the Giants have this thing with their coach. He's not telling them, you must go out there and win every week. But he wants them to play disciplined football all the way. I think they're doing that. We also saw that once the Cowboys got up 17-3, that team shut down all the way until the last drive where they got the game-winning field goal. You can't do that every week. You just can't. It might be a boring game. I couldn't probably admit that too. This might be a very boring game. Giants aren't using Kadarius Toney. They're not using Kenny Galladay. We shall see what happens. But I'll be the sole picker against everyone, and I'll pick the Giants while y'all pick the Cowboys. I could be wrong. I could be easily wrong. That's fine. But I think this will be a closer matchup than probably more people think. The Cowboys defense, Michael Parsons, still my defensive player of the year. Might be the key factor, like he was the last week. And last 2 weeks, honestly, the whole season for the Cowboys. So we shall see. All right. Well, that's all our picks. We are done. And with us being here, we get to explain more of our picks more on the way rather than just,
instead of yelling at each other.
Yeah, shut the fuck up already. But we got the job done. This is a lot of fun.
Don't tell me to shut up. Good.
Now we'll get the panel back next week. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes, depending on everyone's schedule, of course. But there's a lot of fun. Pick'ems is going on. Fantasy's going on. A lot of things going to keep changing throughout the season, so we'll keep it updated. Not much else happened this past weekend. Canelo won his fight by decision, as a lot of us predicted. So easy.
Should he
that's
go
it.
against Bivol again? That's the question.
Okay. I have no idea, but we don't have time to talk about that because I'm tired. All right. Thank you for being on, man. Appreciate you always for being on. Alex, Trey, thank you for being at home, unable to be on, but y'all watched, y'all commented. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, whatever you're doing. If it was live, on demand, thank you for all that. Truly appreciate it. Leave a like, share the video, subscribe. Let's get the ball rolling there. Follow us on TikTok at Puro Pinche Sports, where you can critique the fuck out of us on short clips. Follow us on Twitter at Pinche Sports Pod, where if you see us talk shit back. I don't give a fuck. On Instagram, follow us there too. A lot of fun at Puro Pinche Sports. For Art, I will say we are Puro Pinche Sports, guys, and we are out.